Morty swallows a spider, then walks onto the stage naked. He does all of this to save Rick. Not long ago, the two set out to find Fear. They arrive at a diner and discover the legendary Fear Hole. The entrance is in the last bathroom stall. The hole shows a person their deepest fear. The wall is covered with photos of those who made it through. Rick doesn't take it seriously, but Morty jumps in without hesitation. The next second, monsters pour out of the hole. At the last moment, Rick rushes in and pulls him out. Then he hangs their photo on the wall as well. Back at home, a portal suddenly opens in the living room. A younger version of Rick falls out, holding Diane.
Bomb almost killed her. Take care of our wife.
Rick freezes and starts to think they never left the hole. Back in the garage, Rick explains this is Morty's fear, that if Diane comes back, Rick won't need him anymore. But Morty doesn't agree. Rick decides to investigate. They go to an ice cream shop. Beth tries to explain the situation, but Diane can't understand any of it. When Rick shows up, he even turns himself back into his younger self. But Diane just lost her husband, and she can't accept any of this. They part on bad terms. Back home, Morty believes this is Rick's fear, getting Diane back only to lose her again. Rick denies it. The next day, Rick builds a robot to apologize. Diane recognizes the familiar arm.
Yeah, I used them on a law enforcement drone that the feds had me build. That's how I met my wife.
And agrees to go to the zoo with him. At the zoo, Rick watches Summer talk with Diane and sees Beth have her mother back again. He finally smiles. Morty reminds him about the fear hole.
Yeah, sure. That's a good idea, Morty. Do that.
After that, Rick and Diane start dating. Diane wants to understand what ducks are saying. Rick remembers that was her old research. So he gives a duck a chemical, and it immediately starts talking trash.
Fuck you,
Fuck you, Lisa. Yo, Fred.
They both laugh. Morty pretends not to care. At a bar, they drink out of control. Diane is surprised by how much Rick can drink.
Kept looking for my wife at the bottom of a bottle.
You're pathetic. Hey, to being pathetic.
They end up throwing up in an alley. Diane jokes that maybe she should die a few more times. Rick finally tells the truth. In countless universes, she always dies, and she is the only one who can't be replaced. The moment peaks, and they kiss. Meanwhile, when Morty sees Rick again, something feels off. He realizes the fear hole is consuming Rick, and Rick doesn't want to wake up because of Diane. Morty decides to fix it himself.
Here's one for you. I'm afraid of watching you die.
I like that theory, Morty. So stop watching.
He goes back to the diner, finds the guide, and finally understands Rick's real fear.
So what? He's scared of love?
Everyone's scared of love, dipshit.
People are afraid of happiness because it always ends, and all that's left are memories.
Yummy, yummy. Grandpa's gonna die. Just like Diane.
So, Morty starts doing extreme things to break the illusion. He swallows a spider, acts completely unhinged, and even performs on stage. At the same time, Rick notices the world starting to glitch. Diane begins to stutter. He realizes something is wrong and rushes to find Morty. On stage, Morty is naked, rambling, and being laughed at by everyone. Rick watches it all and finally sees himself clearly. At last, he tells Diane how he really feels.
I don't want to. I don't want to, Diane. I think my greatest fear is letting you go.
That's a good fear, Rick. Keep that fear. If you don't, you'll kill me. Again.
I know, but I don't have to kill Morty too.
Then he walks onto the stage, helps Morty up, and finishes the act with him.